Hello, hello. Looks like the live stream just started, and we can go ahead and let people into the Zoom room. Amazing. There we go. Everybody's getting in, pulling out the chat right now. There we go. Here's your chat window. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Today is a super, super epic, I believe, never before done live stream for Rapid Transformational Therapy. We've brought on four incredible veteran rapid transformational therapists that have really been incredible in the community for us in the ecosystem. And they all have different specialties, they all have different life stories. And I thought it'd be really awesome and valuable for you to be able to talk to them live, to be able to get your questions answered on whatever platform you're streaming from. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom, LinkedIn as well. Go ahead and put your questions in the chat right now. And also go ahead and share what's been happening for you since we did Money is Beautiful last week. What new things have come up? What have you transformed in your life? What types of things have you been working on? And if you have any questions for them ahead of time, go ahead and start to post that in the chats on the different platforms. We're going to be making sure we shuffle all of those questions to the wonderful therapist on today. We've got Marcus, Kira, Rob, and Gabrielle right here with me live in Tallinn, Estonia. Super excited for you to hear their stories and to hear how they became therapists, because for most people, it's very roundabout. It's not like anyone's born saying, I want to do therapy, unless you're Marisa Peer, right? But we'll get to hear their stories of how they became therapists, why they became therapists, and you'll get a lot of the behind the scenes of how they built their business and their best practices and, any other things that you have questions about on this chat. So, Gabrielle, why don't you take my spot?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Skip.
Shall I kick off then, Gabrielle?
Yeah, you kick off, Marcus.
Welcome, everybody. I don't know if somebody can just spotlight me. Thank you. Awesome. I'm here. Welcome, everybody. My name is Marcus Matthews. I'm a rapid transformational therapist. I'm a life transformation coach. I'm also a kind of member of Mind Valley. I'm a coach from Mind Valley as well. So, yeah, let me take you back. Let me take you back to maybe where you are now. So the year was 2018, and I was about to kill myself as a serving police officer in the UK. Now, that sounds quite dramatic, but I can quite vividly remember when that unfolded, when I was outed of being in that really dark valley. And it just happened to be a Facebook post that was introducing me to Marisa. And there was something that spoke to me about the question that I had, and that was, why do I feel the way that I do? And that journey led me to meeting Marisa. It led me to training with Marisa. And now, kind of nearly 5 years later, I'm one of Marisa's trainers. I've been very fortunate to work with a number of celebrities, C-suite executives, CEOs, but also soldiers, other police officers. In fact, I've just onboarded somebody this week, yesterday, in fact, who's a serving police officer who is in a similar position to what I was. And it is the best job in the world. Because as a former investigator, I get to do that again, but really, really impact and really, really change people's lives. And I just want to send this out to you, everybody who's on this call today. Please put your questions in there. Let us help you, because all of us that are going to speak today have been on this journey. And one of the beautiful things that we help people do now as therapists and also as coaches, because some of us are also coaches, is to help you understand the insights of what a career doing this could look like, what it could feel like, and how doing this really isn't a job. It's an honor. It's an honor for us to be able to help people, to empower people to change their lives. And RTT helps you find the root cause, right? It helps you find the root cause to why you feel the way you do, to gain those insights, to empower people. And when you do that, I've had a session with a client today, and she was like, well, how's this going to help? I don't understand it. I don't know how it's going to. She came out the other side, and all of a sudden, all of that anxiety, all of that worry was like, oh my God, why was I even worried? And to be able to do that in just one session, where somebody might have been living with that for, well, that lady had been living with it for about 20 odd years and had not had the courage, the vulnerability to be able to step in and understand why she was feeling the way she does, it is super powerful. And I can say that the team that are behind it are amazing at what they do. The tutors, the mentors, all the support staff, it is a real family. And yeah, being part of that and that support network. And I was just out in Tallinn, actually. So it's great to see Gabrielle because we were hanging out in Tallinn. And just to have those deep conversations and what we do and how we can impact and help not change other people's lives, but change our own lives as we go on that journey. So I would invite you to ask as many questions as you possibly can. And everybody knows that I love talking about this stuff, so I'm going to shut up now. And I'm going to pass you over to Kira, who I know is amazing at what she does. So Kira, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Marcus. And right back at you. One of the things I love about the RTT community is that it has connected me with so many people from different countries, different parts of the world, different ages, genders, backgrounds, and yet we all have a lot of things in common. We've probably all had moments in our lives when we've really had to reassess, what are my priorities, what am I really doing here? And RTT has been part of our journey. So my name's Kira, I'm from the UK, as you can probably tell from my accent. I used to work in government in public policy, and actually that was the career where I started in coaching. So I'm a coach as well as an RTT therapist, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about that next. But I started coaching in the public sector with performance coaching, a lot of career type coaching, and I really loved that. But in my coaching training, and any of you who have been through coaching training or maybe worked with a coach will know that there's a really clear boundary between coaching and therapy, and rightly so. But what I found is that when people would come for coaching on their career or sometimes business development later as I became more experienced, often deep emotional things would come up. So they'd say they want to change jobs. They'd say they were feeling stuck. They were feeling stressed at work. But when we would peel back the layers, often deeper emotional issues would come up, sometimes to do with childhood conditioning, relationships, issues with parents, sometimes sexual abuse, near-death experiences, deaths. All these things came up in coaching sessions, but I didn't feel I'd been given the framework or the permission to work with those issues. But yet people kept sharing them with me in coaching sessions. So I saw that there was an opportunity for my own personal growth there. I was interested in helping people in more of a healing type context. I didn't have the skills and the tools to do that. And it was about that time I discovered RTT. And it was this perfect blend of the things that I already was familiar with from coaching, but with that toolkit to safely work with deep emotions, childhood conditioning, and really help people on those transformational issues that coaching can't always get to. So if I think about my specialism in my work, it's really blending RTT with coaching. I work a lot with people who are trying to really make a difference through their work in the world. It could be their career, it could be their business. And often it's as much about your personal development, your limiting beliefs and your confidence as it is about the right business strategy. So I really love combining the two. And just thinking about the theme of this week's challenge, it really speaks to a client I was working with recently. I was working with her in RTT and we did a session on her money blocks. And she said this: after the session, I feel calmer and more confident. I feel that I have stability and money. Guilt has subsided and has been replaced by understanding. I feel 100% better. It's magic. Thank you. And what RTT has given me is the ability to have feedback like that regularly, doing life-changing work in just one session, whether it's on money blocks or other issues. That's been really transformative for me. What I'd also say about RTT, and I say this in the context of I was already a coach before I did the program, so that definitely helped me, but it's not a prerequisite by any means. I would say of all the training courses I've done, and I've done many, this was the one where I made my money back the most quickly. RTT has strong brand recognition. There's lots of people who are looking for RTT or RTT therapists or who are familiar with Marisa and her work. And so I feel that's a real asset for me as I market my business, that people are already looking for RTT therapists, they're already interested in Marisa's work. And so I think it's been a really good investment in lots of ways, not just in my ability to work more deeply with clients, but also have a skill set that is actually understood in the market. So I think that's all I'll say on that for now, but really excited to meet you and take your questions. I'm now going to hand over to Rob.
Hello, everyone. So I'm a recent graduate and I absolutely love RTT. It's all about the community. It's all about the help that you get to be able to reach the goals that you want to reach. But my story started for many years when I was a kid, and I come from a separated family, and I spent 25 years, 30 years believing that happiness was outside of me. I just spent years and years and years looking and looking and searching and searching and searching. And for me, it was in totally the wrong places. It ended up in divorce. I ended up buying cars, getting married, having children, believing all of that was going to bring me happiness. But I was still miserable, and it ended up in divorce, and I ended up in depression, suicidal thoughts, until one day I just had this epiphany that, is there something that I could do? So I went to self-help, read books, and obviously went along the lines of reading books of all the inspiring people, obviously Marisa being one of them. And it led me to RTT. And RTT come along probably around 5 years after my own self-development. So I've done a lot of self-work myself, but RTT was just beautiful for me. It gave me exactly the tools needed to help other people, and also empower and give people freedom from the beliefs that they believe of themselves. It's society gives you that, society makes you believe in things that are not true through the television, through friends, through environment, and we just pick them up as we go along. And I picked a lot of that up from my family, a lot of that through friends, and just believing that I was not enough. Until you read all these self-help books, and RTT is the beautiful tools that can help you and help clients reach the goal of the root cause as to why we believe and feel the way we feel, so that we can let them go. And I'd say more likely it lets go of us and it lets go of our clients. But it took me 6 months to graduate. I was very committed, and I have I've had many reflective practices, and I've had many clients and testimonials that are very positive, very life-changing for me. What the beauty of it is when the client says to you, you've changed their life. That's the why. For me, that is the why right there. For me, it was today I woke up this morning, I had this testimonial from a man who, it was the first time I'd actually have a man as a client, and he was, he cried a lot, which was beautiful to see, because it was a letting go of his pain. But he'd come to me for procrastination, and during the scenes we found a lot of guilt, and he was able to let go of the guilt. But in the actual testimonial, he said that he smoked a lot of marijuana, and what the beautiful thing of it was is he said that he'd given that up by 80%. So it started with procrastination, ended up releasing guilt, and ended up giving up addiction. And that's just beautiful in itself. And the only reason being able to be successful as a therapist is the community that you get. I've made so many new friends, met so many new people, the support that you get. And it's just amazing to be part of RTT and to be able to help people and empower people and give them freedom to see how amazing and beautiful they actually are, and being able to receive the messages, and you make friends for life. It's just incredible. So I'm going to pass you over to Gabrielle, who's got a lot more stories to share. Thank you.
So, hello everyone. I'm just going to brief you on my journey in RTT. It's very similar to everybody else. So I found RTT when I was going through quite a bad time. I was at my rock bottom. I was actually suicidal myself, and I came across Marisa through Mindvalley, and I did some of her courses, which helped me, but then I had some RTT myself. And at the same time, I was also looking for my purpose. I wasn't just wanting to heal some things that I'd gone through. I'd gone through a redundancy. I'd gone through a marriage breakup. I'd moved home. I'd gone through a lot of things that I needed to heal. And RTT literally saved my life in many ways, because it saved my life, first of all, through the depression and the suicidal things that I was going through, and it stopped me from doing something that I would have regretted hugely. And I'm still here for my family, but it also made me, as in built my career and built my very successful career. So I absolutely love what I do. I don't work a day in my life because I love every bit of what I do in my RTT and coaching. And right now, my niche is I'm known as the success coach, and I coach business leaders, entrepreneurs, and high achievers to get more success in their life and in their business. And like I say, I can't say enough. I just love what I do. So I'm helping different people in businesses all the time. I helped somebody a few months ago going through a crisis, huge procrastination, anxiety, owned a couple of estate agents, couldn't even go into the office, would sit in the car and be having panic attacks and in a terrible state. His marriage was breaking down and life was just not how he'd want it to be. Well, a few months later, life is amazing. He's rebuilt his marriage. He doesn't have any panic attacks, no anxiety. It's all gone. And he's bought 2 other estate agents and grown his business. And he went from, I just want to pack it all in and do nothing. So you know, RTT is literally, it's saving people's lives. It's giving them a purpose. It's rebuilding things that they don't have in their lives anymore. And it's just an amazing thing. So I've grown my business to, I work with groups. So I also do this with groups of entrepreneurs. And when I do my RTT with my groups, I say it's like I'm I'm a conductor on an orchestra, and I'm orchestrating all of these minds and getting their minds to where they need to be. And it feels beautiful to do that. And even with a number of 16 business leaders, it still works. They still come out of the session and say, wow, that's had an amazing effect. I didn't know that I had that thing that was holding me back. I didn't know that was making me procrastinate. And I didn't realize that had taken away my focus because I'm holding on to all this pain, or I'm holding on to these things from my past that have not served me. And I have to say, it's the best decision I've ever made for many, many reasons. RTT as a business, it's given me freedom, it's given me money, and most of all, it's given me a huge purpose. So yeah, that's my story. And I just think if anybody wants to ask any questions, anybody wants to find out any more, fire away, ask the questions. So thank you. Who's next?
Gabrielle, I've written some of the questions down, so I'll go through those, and then if anybody wants to chip in, shall we do it that way? Let's do that, because there are some questions, some great questions actually. Yeah. So, okay. So Paulina has asked, can I help people if I'm not healed? Now, this is really interesting, because if you've been listening to every single one of our stories, you'll notice a theme. And that theme is that we found RTT, it changed our lives. And then through that process of our own healing, that then gave us the tools to then take the tool that is RTT to help others. So one of the things that I would definitely say, and I know Ariel's popped in the link in the chat, so professionals.rtt.com. So anybody who has kind of carried on their journey with RTT, they're in the alumni, you'll find them listed in there, and they're all countries. So I think we're all on there, should be anyway. But my point is that there's a great saying of put your own oxygen mask on before you put it on other people. And I would absolutely advocate that you've got to do your own inner work before you go and help others. And of course, when you come and train in RTT, you get to practice it. You'll open up new aspects of who you are and understanding, and that work is always ongoing. I think everybody on here will attest to the fact that we're still doing the work, right? But I think it is really important that you get yourself to a place But the great thing about RTT is that doesn't need to take years and years. All right. If you get the right person, they can help you move forward. And when you then start to use the tools yourself, you start to understand it, it's so much better. And I think that everybody will attest here that says, go and get that help first and then go on to do the training. That's certainly what I did. That was my journey. It was Gabrielle's, Rob's, Kira, I think.
And just Marcus, on your point of how quick it works, when I work with my clients, and I'm sure it's the same with everybody, when I do a session and clients come out of the session, they'll say to me, this is like having 2 years worth of therapy in one session. It just works so quickly, so thorough, because we are getting to the root cause, and we are getting to that cause of whatever it is that's been holding that person back. Yeah. So it is literally like having 2 years worth of therapy in one session. That's my experience anyway.
Rob and Kira, do you want to add anything to that question from your perspective?
What I found beautiful about the process for me was you get to be the client and you get to be the therapist. So you get to see it from both sides. So I got to see my own aha moments, and I've got to see the aha moments of the clients. And you can obviously understand it from both sides of the fences. So that resonates deep. That's why I would, when you do reflective practice, or you help clients, or you help friends or family as well, when you are the client, you get to see it from your own side, from your own knowing that it does work, because you see your own improved behavior. But then when you also see your client's improved behavior, also knows that it works. It's just, without a doubt, it's just so powerful and it's so fast that for me, it was the best decision I ever made as well, because that's why I love it, because it's just so powerful, and watching people grow. And I've seen watch people grow in the session. So they come to you and they're really sad, and then the next minute when they come out, the clients say, "Oh, I felt like I've lost 5 stone." Like, that's just incredible to even just get to that point within 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So to say that, you know how powerful it is within that moment, within 2 hours, and there isn't much more that you can really explain. It's hard to explain when it comes from a place of feeling, a place of deeper knowing, than trying to work it all out with your mind. It just works. It's just incredible. Kira?
Yeah, absolutely endorse that. And I love what Gabrielle said about how it really supercharges the therapeutic experience. And so a little bit like her, I've had that feedback as well. I'm sure we all have. Someone said, this is better than the 20 years of therapy that my parents put me through. That's not a bad return on investment for one RTT session, right? So that's the kind of power that this tool has. And I think there was also a question about neurodiversity, and maybe others can say more about that as well, but about, does this tool work on everyone, or does this tool work on people whose minds may work a little bit differently? When you learn the RTT methodology, what's brilliant about it is that there are so many tools within the RTT toolkit. So you can really adapt, and you'll learn this as part of your process. Which tool am I going to use for this client based on what they're telling me, what I can see about which tools they're responding to, what they need in the moment, and what they've been through. So the RTT is really a toolkit, and then you get to choose the tools that will be most appropriate. So some people are going to do great with things that are around embodiment. Some people are going to find it really easy to visualize. Some people are going to find that harder. Some people take suggestions on very easily, others a little bit more resistant. So you're going to find other tools work for them more effectively. So that's one of the things I love about RTT, is it contains so many tools within it that there's something for most people in there that's going to help them get through their block. But maybe some of the other therapists want to speak to that, or the other questions we've had.
I was just wondering, actually, that might lead quite nicely onto a couple of questions, which was about how do people react if they want help but aren't open to hypnosis, and why is RTT different? And I know Ariel put something in there, but the way I explain it is I don't talk about RTT and I don't talk about hypnosis, right? Because it doesn't really matter. I always say it's like, if you're building a house, are you bothered what tool the person uses? Do you want to know the make of their saw and their hammer? No, of course you don't. So why is RTT different? So hypnosis, general hypnosis, and we talk about this at the start of the course, is if you think of that as a bookend, most hypnosis simply is A deep state of relaxation where the hypnotherapist will use a script to suggest to the mind how it can change. That would be the basis of hypnosis. So why is RTT different? There's four elements really to RTT. The first is the induction. So that's getting you to that nice state of relaxation where you feel safe and you can open up the subconscious mind. The second part to that then is the investigation. This is the bit I love, form a cop, okay? And we're going to the root cause of the feeling. So notice I said the root cause to the feeling, because the words we tell ourselves are the gateway to that feeling. And emotion drives 95% of behavior. Okay, so I'm not a fan of mindset, because it's the heart, it's the emotion that drives behavior. So if 95% of that is emotion, then how do you shift that emotion, right? How do you shift that feeling of anxiety? Well, you disconnect it. So what we do is the next bit is kind of the interruption. So we find that root cause, that golden thread, and then we split the beliefs. The belief is 5% story, 95% emotion. And then we drop the emotion. Now we're only dealing with the story, 5%. Okay. So now we install a new story and a new feeling. And that's when we come to the installation or the transformation. So that would be your suggestibility. But the difference between RTT is now we're coming from a place of knowing. We know the reason why we feel the way we do. We've changed that behavior. We've changed, literally, it's neuroplasticity. What we're doing is we're breaking down those neural connections in the mind and in the body, and we're now starting to build a new paradigm. And I often do it with clients. So I say, describe that to me. Okay, so this is your 5%. It's a bit of plastic. It's black, Marcus. Oh yeah, but what about all the buttons and all the colors that are on here? And we introduce you to all the buttons that you need to press so that you can use this remote control to change your lights green, change them blue, change them orange. Yeah. And so that's what we do is we do that very simply. And this is the reason why it's so quick, it's so effective. And Marisa has created this framework, the 4I framework, that leads your client to a place of knowing, because knowing is choice and choice is power. So we're now empowering the client to understand why they feel the way they do. And then they can make that massive change. And this is why we can do that quickly. And that thing about why do people, can people go into hypnosis? Just leading on to that question. Yes, we do it every day. We go into hypnosis every single day. How many of you on here, put it in the chat, have driven your car and don't remember the journey? How many of you have watched a movie and you're so engrossed in it, you don't notice the people around you? It's not about clucking chickens and eating onions. It's not about losing control. It is the ultimate in control. It's the ultimate understanding. And what Marisa has done with this framework that is RTT and all these tools is empowered the client and you as the therapist to make great, long-lasting change quickly and simply. I'll shut up, Gabrielle. I'll pass over to you.
Hi, Marcus. I've just got a really good idea and someone that would like to talk to everyone. So I'm just going to excuse myself and swap.
Hello, how are you? That was so lovely seeing everyone, seeing Rob and Marcus, and how do I pronounce your name? Anyway, and Chiara and all of you is incredible. So thank you. But I can answer a few questions too. I'm here. So if you have some questions, fire away. I'd love to answer them for you. Oh, no one has any questions. Oh, I guess because you're not live, you're putting them in the chat bar. Hold on, let me see. Has a question come in?
There's a really interesting question in one of the WhatsApp groups about RTT and ADHD. Does it work on people who have ADHD, and would they be able to use this toolkit themselves? I thought that was a really interesting question.
I've worked with a lot of children with autism and indeed Asperger's. You can never say to them, hey, hypnosis will get rid of autism or Asperger's, or even did ADHD. But what I found with children and adults who have ADHD, autism or Asperger's, they feel so different. And the bane of our life is to be different, because when we come on the planet, we're hardwired to do something, which is find connection, avoid rejection. That's how we survive. And so I've worked with many kids, and the first thing I say is, look, you're not different. ADHD, of course, is I can't concentrate, I'm hyperactive, and there's a way of hypnotizing people so they can narrow their thoughts down. I work with a lot of football players who are very distracted, and snooker players, and I teach them how to say this word narrowed down, go into the zone where everything fades away, or they can focus on exams or whatever they're doing. And with children with ADHD, when you label someone, you limit them. I have ADHD, I have compulsive, I have social anxiety, and often you don't at all. So the first thing we do is take away the label. If a kid says, I can't focus, I can't sit still, I say, well, when I'm engrossed in a movie, I sit still. When I've got something amazing to eat, I sit still. So we have to go back and find out, when is that belief not true? Like, my kid can never get up in the morning. They can on Christmas Day. They're out of bed like a shot at 5 in the morning, actually. So we always challenge the belief and start to make that very belief not quite true. And once you remove an existing belief, you can now put in a new one. And by the way, whenever you question a belief, you already doubt it. So I hope that helps you. But if you have more questions like that, book a call. I've worked with many children with ADHD, attention deficit disorder, all these labels they give them. But we try just to label kids as smart. In fact, somebody said to me recently, my kid's been diagnosed with autism. What should I tell him? He's a genius. He said, I did tell him that, and he actually is. He's so smart. So please book a call and talk to one of our team, because they can answer these questions even better than I can. Do you have another question you'd like me to answer? I think we've all gone silent here.
Marisa, there's a question there about doing this and having this job as a therapist, but maybe not getting that support from family because they don't believe in therapy or this type of stuff. How would you have that conversation with them?
Well, I trained an amazing girl whose family would say, but you're a personal trainer last year. How can you now be a therapist? And you just have to let that go. We have our lovely Shani in Wales, who worked with a guy who had a mental block about playing darts, and she hypnotized him. He became so successful. Should I charge him £1,000 because it was easy? And her mother went, oh, this is a terrible, you shouldn't have taken that money off. And she said, Mum, he won the championship. He became a world famous. She said, well, people should just get used to it. People have to get over all their problems. So you may have family who say this is silly. People have to get over their problems, or who are you to be a therapist? But who are you not to be? It's like that poem, who are you not to be? Why should you hide your greatness because someone in your family doesn't like you to dazzle them? If they don't like your dazzle, they have to wear sunglasses. My family have been very supportive, but not in the beginning. And some people just say, oh, all this hypnosis is rubbish. But I just say, well, Olympic athletes use it, world famous actors use it. I've worked with people so famous. You think, well, why are they using it? I sat in Malibu 2 years ago, the most famous actor in the world. And he believed that I could help him play this part that was very challenging. And I did. And he could have paid anyone. He said, no, I want to use hypnosis. Actors, Olympic athletes understand the power of hypnosis. And you always get people who ridicule it and mock it, but it doesn't matter. Your job is to do great work and let your results show. And if someone rolls their eyes, just smile at them. And you don't need to convince them. Just keep convincing your clients. But usually when they see your success, they'll change. One of my clients was saying that her mother was so opposed to doing this, but her father lent her the money. She said, this is terrible. We'll never get it back. I paid them all back in 6 months. And my dad is so proud of me. My mother eventually said, actually, I do think it's great what you're doing. At first, I thought it was silly, but now I've seen what you're doing. I really believe in it. And that's all that matters. We don't have to prove anything to anyone except to our clients. I was in a green room of a TV show many years ago, and this woman who was an agent said to me, have you got a degree in medicine? I said, no. She goes, are you a doctor? I said, no. She goes, well, what have you got? I said, well, I've got a lot of money and I've got a lot of really, really happy clients. And she actually did laugh because she wanted me to feel bad, but I didn't. And as it happens, 6 months later, she called me and said, hey, I've got a job for Sony. And can I book you on it? You have to give me a commission. She began to give me a lot of work because she was an agent. Because when she said, well, you're not a doctor, I said, no, that's a good thing, isn't it? But I've got lots and lots of happy clients. And so people can only diminish you if you let them. And your job is you mustn't let them. So I think our lines are open for a little bit longer if you want to book a call. My family's afraid that I can't live off doing this, and I really will not listen to them. I'm 57 years old. Well, of course you can. You can make more money as a therapist. You can get in many, many other jobs. You can set your own hours. And you know what? At 57, you don't have to retire in 8 more years. You can work until you're 90 if you want to. You may say, I'm just going to see 1 client a week or 2 clients a week, but it's a great job for someone who's older. It's one of the rare jobs where you pick your hours. You can get up, sit at your kitchen table like I'm sitting at a desk now. You can see 2 clients a day, 5 clients a week. We had a great guy come from Holland who'd retired and was so bored. We trained him, and not only did he become a great therapist, he married another therapist on our course, having been lonely his whole life. And he said, this is the best job in the world. So your parents may worry, but your job is to reassure them. It's one of the rare jobs in the world where you can choose your hours, choose your fee structure, choose when you're going to work, where you're going to work, and make a massive difference too. Any other questions you'd like me to answer? Let me have a look. Any more come in?
I can add something to that, Marisa.
Oh, yes, please do. I'd love you to.
So I was an IT engineer for 25 years, and when this come along, I just knew it was a calling, and I went home to my partner and I just said, I know what I'm going to do. I found it. It's exactly what I want to do. And my family were like, what you on about? You can't do that. And then I just went with my heart, knew that's what I wanted to do. And now I've been in it for nearly 8 months now. They're much, much more convinced because they've seen the complete change in me, and they've read the testimonials that I've had to know that it works. And now I have them saying to me, oh, can you help me? So now you can see that the family does come along when they see the change in you, and they see the change in your clients when you show them, you explain stories to them and you tell them stories of how you've had clients and it's been successful and the friends that you've made. And they come along eventually. It's just because they believe in their mind at that moment that you can't do it. But how do you diminish a big dream? You tell it to a small mind and they don't believe it. So you need them to come along by seeing what you do. Live by example, just believe in yourself, and results will come, and it happens.
Yeah, one of my clients was saying that her husband and her teenage son went, oh, this is ridiculous. There you go again, another crazy thing. You might as well be a psychic. This is all nonsense. 6 months later, her son said, Mum, I'm so proud of you because I see you change people's lives and you helped so many of my friends because they were obviously unhappy teenagers. And her husband said, yeah, I'm really proud of you too. And I love that her 2 fiercest critics, her son, teenage son and husband, became her 2 biggest fans because they saw what she was doing. And my daughter says, Mummy, I'm proud of you. You help people. And that's a great thing that when your family and friends are proud of you, but we don't do it for that, but it is a lovely side effect. I did notice Paulina saying, I'm confused. Is the course 24 months? No, the course is 6 months, but many people take a year to do it, and that's perfectly okay. And then you get 2 certificates. So it may be another year before you've completed everything, but that's really up to you. We don't rush you through it. We let you go at your pace. So if you can commit to this and don't have any other commitments, you can do it very quickly. But if you've got another job and 4 kids and all kinds of things going on, it might take you a year, but it won't take you 2. So let me see if there's any other questions I could answer.
Marisa, there was a few
Yes.
business questions, and we haven't mentioned the fact that it's not just about RTT. People also get the accelerated marketing and the stuff that John's done. So I just wondered whether that's taking that knowledge into business and how we help with that in regards to the marketing stuff.
Well, we do try to give you a business in a box. So a huge part of the course now is marketing. It's in addition to the course. We don't waste your time with marketing, but as you finish the training, we realize very quickly that it isn't enough to be an amazing therapist if nobody is where you are, who you are. So now we teach you marketing, how to find clients, how to close a call, how to do an elevator pitch, how to sell, how to use social media, how to get your speech, how to niche, all the things you need to run, because of course you are going to work for yourself. You're going to have your own business, which is super exciting. You might think, oh my God, that's really scary, but it actually isn't. I've never worked for anyone my entire life. I've always worked for myself. I never have it. I was going to have a day off and have a weekend off. I need to go to the dentist. I love working for myself, but the marketing is very important. It's extremely important. And so we teach you marketing because it's so, so, so important. And John is a genius at marketing. One of the reasons I'm so successful is I understood marketing. It wasn't my natural skill, but I learned it. And writing books and being on television all came from an ability to market myself. And the very same marketing skills that I have and the very same marketing team that I use is really going to help you be amazing marketers.
But we also have the alumni group, which is after you graduate. And if you've got any questions, the community is very good. They're very asked. You can post anything in the Facebook group And the Facebook group, there's so many people that have gone through the process that are already, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years down the line that have got their business up and running. And they can give you advice from where you are now, and you can ask. And that's what's great about it too, is the community of people that you have there that can help you along the way. And for me, that's priceless as well.
I was saying, but should I do a degree? There's no need for you to do a degree. It's very useful having a degree, but as a therapist, having a degree won't help you any more than, we have a lot of doctors we train and we love doctors, but I worked with somebody recently who was so depressed she wanted to kill herself. And her doctor put her on medication. When I saw her, I realized this was all to do with, because she said the only time I wasn't depressed was when I was pregnant for 9 months. When I had the baby, straight back to, I had postnatal depression. And it was all to do with her hormone levels, which you think her doctor would pick up. But doctors are not trained. If you go to doctors and say, I've got migraine, I've got stomach ache, I've got leg pains, they will look for the medical reason. That's what they're trained to do. And they're trained very well to do that. And they're good people. But doctors will tell you the truth. 70% of people turning up at the hospital or at a doctor's surgery have real physical headaches, real physical stomach aches, real physical irritable bowel. And it's not caused by diseased organs, it's caused by diseased thinking. And so having a degree in biochemistry or human biology is not going to help you if most of our clients have diseased thinking. And we know that's true. The amount of autoimmune diseases we're seeing now and skin conditions and fears and phobias and panic attacks are never caused by a diseased organ. So we're helping with diseased thinking, and we give you very thorough training. We cover the rules of the mind, the 3 things wrong with you, the 3 ways people act, the 4 ways we act in order to belong. And it's incredibly thorough, and I think you'll love it. More questions? Someone's saying about, due to the nature of different countries, the business advice is around building your practice. We have so many grads. Yes, that's true. We can't tell you. For instance, in Canada, every province is different. In LA, every state is different. We can't tell you exactly what's going on in your country, but we'll help you a great deal. What is the #1 success factor for the best RTT therapist? I'm going to let one of my therapists answer that. What would you say, Marcus? What is the #1 success factor?
I would say, without a doubt, because it happened today, I've had a client today, #1 success factor for me is knowing that you go and do something that not just impacts the person that you're working with, but it ripples out into their family, into their work. There's this ripple effect that causes that you're literally, that one moment can change that person's life. Everybody, and imagine if we did that with everybody and we had enough therapists out there that could impact everybody's life, how different would the world be? Because that's the plan. We want to make everybody feel enough. And we can
Many years ago, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Many years ago, I saw a girl who said, I just can't stand to have sex with my husband. I can't stand it when he touches me. And I'm going to leave him because I just can't live with him anymore, because I hate the way he snores. I hate the sounds of it when he eats. And I got 3 kids, but I have to leave him. I don't even know actually why she came to see me, because she was so committed. But we did a session. She realized it was her father. Her father was really inappropriate. Whenever she brought friends home, he'd walk around naked and make weird sexual comments. And she was so revolted by this, but had no power to tell him, this is not right, stop doing that. And later, when she married her husband, all this fury with her father came out with her husband. And when she got there, she went, oh, this is amazing. She said, do you mind if I leave? She said, I want to get home now and have sex with them before the kids come home from school. So I said, no, go. She practically ran out of my door. The next day she called and she said, you've changed the lives of 6 people. Me, my husband, our 4 kids, and by the way, the dog too, because I was going to leave him. And I fell in love with him yesterday because I realized he is not my dad. He's a wonderful man. My dad is a complete idiot. And that was such a lovely thing when she said, you have changed the lives of 4 people. Because when I was leaving him, my kids would have been devastated. Now, who would have thought I could fall in love with him? All the way home, I couldn't wait to see him. And this morning I woke up and thought, I love my husband. My dad's an idiot, but my husband isn't. And we reframe things for our clients very powerfully. They tell us stuff, we find out stuff, we feedback what happened, how it affected them. And then we change everything. And as Marcus, it's a ripple effect. It doesn't just affect one person. Someone said, her kid said, Mommy, you don't shout anymore. You're not shouty, Mommy. She said, it's so lovely that I'm so at peace with myself and I love my job. My kids are benefiting. And so it's a huge knock-on effect. And I love that. Do you get to practice? Yes, you get to practice. We have a practice register. If you do the online course, we find people for you to practice with, because that can be a challenge. I'm saying, who can I practice? I don't want to practice on my sister anymore. So we give you a practice register. So any more questions for me or one of these wonderful people? What would you say, Gabrielle, was the most important thing? That question again, to be a great therapist.
Well, I think believing in yourself, because that's one of the main things that I help people with in business as well.
Yeah.
So when you believe in yourself, you can be an amazing therapist. And part of that is getting the person in front of you to believe that if you believe in yourself, the person in front of you is going to believe that they can be different as well. So I think it's an important factor. I think so too. And also this training doesn't end when you've got your certificate. We do masterclasses every month. We do masterclasses on niche subjects like eating disorders, drinking, smoking, panic attacks, speaking in public, working in the corporate world. We have masterclasses every month on your marketing, your business. So we don't say, oh, lovely, here's your certificate, goodbye. We keep in touch with you all the time. And that's a wonderful thing too. So any more questions for me or for one of our lovely therapists?
There was one, I think one of the things that somebody said here, Marisa, which is different to what many of these courses do, is they were saying, is it just an online guided course that you do? And it's not, is it?
Yeah, no, we call it live online. We don't say, hey, here's all these videos, just watch them. We do something called a virtual classroom. You're in a classroom, but you're being taught by somebody like me. There may only be 4 of you in there. We have very small classrooms with tutors, and it's live. It's live online. So you're turning up live, just like you turn up live to be in a classroom with me live. It's simply live online. And we didn't even know how good we were at teaching this live. And yet now we've got therapists all over the world, some of them I've never met, who only did the live training and are doing fantastic work. So yes, you're not just getting manuals and books to read, because that's important. A lot of people, I worked with somebody once that I've trained in psychology for 5 years and I've never worked with a client. I've written patient plans, but I've never actually worked with anyone. It's like, wow, we have you practicing hypnotherapy and therapy techniques from day one. We want you to be super successful. And that's why we created live online, not just online. Anything else?
Marisa, is it worth noting as well about the fact that most of your trainers and your grads who've done really well, most of them have never come from a therapy background? So
it's so funny. My sister, who's in the business with me, we travel. We will go to Canada and Australia, and we've been to Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Berlin, Amsterdam, and we take with us we cherry pick our best therapists, and we take about 10 of them with us. I was saying to her, isn't it interesting? Our best therapists most of them aren't therapists. We very rarely take an existing clinical psychologist. We've had a lot of doctors we've trained and psychiatrists, and a few of them we take with us, but our best graduates on the whole didn't come from a medical background because they're too busy looking at the medical reason, although we have got some amazing, amazing doctors who now work with us and for us. But I love the fact that almost all my graduates, my best therapists that come with me all over the world, training people, almost none of them were existing therapists. And that says a lot.
And I'm going to just attest to that, Marisa.
Yes, because you're one of them.
Yeah, right. So the beauty of this is that it's very, I'm a very kinesthetic learner, and it's about doing. It's not about reading. And a lot of academia is about reading. And when I speak to psychologists, one of the things I always say is, oh, this won't work. And I go, when was the last time you wanted to kill yourself? And they're like, I never did. Oh, okay. Right. So I did. And then I found a method of getting out of that. So, you know, those dusty case studies that you read, I'm a live version of one of those. So you can't tell me that it doesn't work, because I'm living proof, because I wouldn't be living if I hadn't have found RTT. I think that's the same with a lot of people. They have gone away from that conventional education system, that conventional, degree and all the rest of it, simply because they wanted to find out why they feel the way they do and have a methodology that they could use that's simple. And that's what you've done, isn't it? You've created this simple and effective, you've taken the best bits of everything and created this amazing, simple.
The best bits and created something amazing. And when people say, shouldn't I be fixed before I work? And I say, look, if you want to be an AA counselor, you call it and say, hey, AA, can I be a counselor? I go, have you been a drunk? No. Well, then you can't be a counselor, because we only take people in the AA counseling who've had a problem with drinking. Otherwise, they cannot relate. So when you turn up and say, oh, my life's amazing, I'm perfect, I never had a problem, people can't relate to you. When you say, you know, I dated an idiot when I was 17, I had a problem with sugar, I couldn't stop drinking for 10 years, I was suicidally depressed. And look at me now, they go, oh, you had issues and I can relate to you. They don't want someone perfect who looks amazing, who's never had a problem, because most of us couldn't go through life with that problem. They're very unrelatable. We like to have rapport with our clients. I like to have empathy with them. I actually like it when you've had issues yourself, because you make more sense to them. We like people who've come through a lot. And look at Wayne Dyer, Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, all had horrendous origins in life, but it didn't hold them back. It motivated them to help people. But someone's had a perfect life isn't really relatable. So people don't think, I want a therapist who's never had any life problems. They want someone who's had some issues. So I think we're almost running out of time. I'm going to let Marcus and Gabriella, come and take my seat, because I've got to get ready. I've got to do a masterclass with someone in San Diego now, so I have to go. Love you lots. Hope you join us. Some of you get a 14-day money back guarantee. We do have payment plans. We have everything going on. So I'm going to hand back to Gabriella, and I'm so glad you've seen these 4 amazing grads. We have 16,000 of them all over the world. They're amazing. We're so proud of them. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to love you and leave you. But I'm not drinking beer. This is kombucha, just in case you wondered.
I mean, shall we give a top tip, everybody, before we hand back to Skip? I think we should give a top tip. So, Gabrielle, do you want to go first? Seeing as you've
I was thinking to answer the money question, because there was a couple of questions on how to earn money to get started on this, and there was another question, and can you earn good money? Well, I can tell you, I've surpassed my £10,000 a month, and I'm working towards my 20 grand a month. So to me, that's good money. And I'm sure to many of you, that would be good money to be earning from a business from scratch. That, I wasn't a therapist, I wasn't any of this before. And now I'm on extremely good money. And that's through building my own business, through being an RTT therapist. So I just thought that was an important one. And to get started on that journey, just do it. That is my biggest advice, because somebody said, how do I start earning money? You just do it. So, I set myself a target. I did 5 clients for free. I got testimonials. You need testimonials. You don't need a website. You don't need any of these things. You need your social media, and you need testimonials, and you can get started. And then I set a price for the next 5 clients, and and my price went up and up and up. And now I feel that I charge a good price for what I do, and I class myself as a high earner. So there is good money to be made doing this if we're on the money subject.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'll link on to that one, because I think that's if somebody can pin me. I'll link on to that one, because I think if your only reason for doing this, Gabrielle doesn't do it for the money. The money is a result, right? And I know from all the stuff that Marissa's been doing this week around money is energy. And when you invest your energy in something that you love doing, that changes other people's lives and changes your life, then the money does roll. And I'm going to admit that on the start of my journey, that was a difficult thing. I had to do a lot of work around money and the acceptance of money. But as soon as I reframed that to money is energy, then you start to then attract the people, you attract the opportunities. And one of the biggest things for me is being around the right people, like Gabrielle, because we were in talent. Yeah. But my point is that surrounding yourself by the right people who want that bigger thing for the world is really, really important. So what I would say is to ask yourself a different question around money, and to say, what energy do I want to bring into my life? And how could RTT allow me to have that energy for myself and for other people by making a difference? And that's what I would say, is anchor yourself in the why you would want to start on this journey. But you can have dreams. the thing is, you have to take action on those dreams. And that would be my top tip, is to take action, have those conversations. And what is that first micro move that you have to make? So I don't know if Rob or Kira want to add to that before we bring Skip in.
The sort of linking on from that, Marcus, is that I believe in that why too. It's all about finding out the why and then finding out who you need to become. And then the how just happens. Because once you find out your why, but it's not about being interested in your why, it's about being committed to it. So you need to be committed to the why. So the commitment to, I want to help people. I want to help people overcome things. And because I've been through traumas and depression in a situation, I know I've overcome it and I know how that feels. I want other people to experience that too. And when they do that, that's where the fulfillment comes from. So that's the why. And then the rest of it just comes with it. And then you get your friends and everything just aligns in its place when you concentrate on the why. But it's also about the commitment to understand that things will be a little bit difficult as you go through the course, because you will be helping yourself and you'll get to the edge of your comfort zone. But the rules of the mind says it's just because you're at the edge, it's just reason for growth. You just keep doing it in action and putting your action into why, and you'll feel more and more and more and more comfortable and more at peace and everything with clients and with people, and being able to succeed in the area of helping people. So it's all about the commitment to the why. That would be my top tip, is to find your why and be committed to that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Kira, what do you think?
Yeah, thinking about, I love that you talked about the why there, and it reminded me that there was a sort of a question about the if here, like, should I do this if I haven't healed all my own issues yet? Will I be okay? Is that legitimate? Is that valid? I would say that's an internal decision, but for me, I wouldn't wait until I was perfect to start helping others. If you can help others now, who are you helping by holding yourself back because you're not perfect? No one. I'm not perfect. I'm able to help other people. And we're all on a journey of becoming more whole, improving, growing, learning, and that never really stops. But don't let the fact that maybe there's something that you haven't completely nailed or mastered in your life, don't let the fact that you have some areas that you're still working on stop you from sharing your gifts and your talents with others if you feel called to do so. So I think that's really the question. Are you someone who's a helper? Are you a server? Are you a healer? Is that who you are? Maybe you found that because when you worked in an office, I remember this, where I worked in an open plan office, or when I worked in an office with doors, people were always coming and telling me their problems. It's who I am, right? So are you that person already? If so, you probably already have the predisposition to help people, and getting the right tools is really going to allow you to 10x that. So that's something I'd say about the if. And then it also relates to this, what makes a successful therapist? I mean, we might define success differently, but if I'm thinking of someone who's very good at what they do and earning a good living from it, I would say the first place to start is by getting very good at RTT. So we've got amazing trainers, tuition, you get to learn from Marisa and from our amazing trainers. So you get very good training, you get to practice with other peers in the community, you get the chance to get very good. And I'd say those people who, when they graduate, immediately start working, whether it's getting a few testimonials from free clients or paid clients, it doesn't matter, just start working. Get good, keep building your skills. And as you build those skills, you're going to get testimonials, you're going to get referrals, you're going to get the confidence to start raising your rates. So get very good, which the course is designed to help you to do, and the community allows you to keep refining your skills, and then share about it. If you're able to help people overcome smoking that they haven't been able to give up for years, confidence, repairing their marriages, helping with weight loss, health, getting new jobs, getting pay rises, why would you not be successful? People want those things. So if you can help people with those things because you've become very good at this, then the success will come. So those would be my tips on that.
Cool. So Skip, who started off, I've just messaged Skip, and Skip wants me to wrap up. I don't know why I've been given the pleasure of doing this, but hey, Gabrielle's laughing because she knows what I'm like. So I hope, I say to everybody, I want to just say thank you for everybody for jumping on this call. Thank you for Skip, for Marisa, for all of my amazing colleagues and friends who have come on here today. And I think that the message that we want to kind of express to you is, take action. If you want to make a difference in your life, if you want to change your life, it all starts with that first micro move. And I think that first micro move is book a call. you lose nothing, right? You lose nothing by having a chat with the guys at the school. And I think the team have been putting the links in all over social media and on Zoom. And this isn't a one-stop journey. You don't just learn this method and then you're on your own. Essentially, you're on a journey to your own self-development, and we have a community, and you're going to be supported through the whole of this journey, whether that be through Marisa, the trainers, the tutors, because we didn't mention, actually, we have the trainers on the virtual classrooms, but we also have tutor groups. So we've got all these amazing, talented people that are there to support you on your journey. We've also got an amazing alumni, our community. And so the only thing that you really need to do is to anchor back into your why and say, why do I want to go on this journey? What would life look like? And then start to manifest this, because RTT is basically practical law of attraction, right? So there's a reason why you've been attracted to this webinar. There's a reason why you're here. But the thing you need to do now is just take some action. So what I would do is, Ariel's just put a link on Zoom. So it's go.applyrtt.com, workshop-schedule. That's a bit of a long one, so I'd click the link rather than writing it down. But yeah, just thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for your time and your energy. We really appreciate you showing up. And just thank you to everybody, all of the grads, Marisa and Skip. So yeah, with that, let's wrap it up. So hopefully we'll see you on a training course somewhere. We'll see you in the alumni, and we'll be part of your own personal journey. So yeah, see you all very, very soon. And that's us signing off. Bye-bye.